All the time in the operational environment, controllers are processing information and making decisions. This is how it works. Stimuli enter through senses. The brain then picks out what it needs to complete the task and adds to the short-term memory bank. And if it's not relevant, the brain discards this information. Short-term memory works together with long-term memory to help us perceive the world around us. Your perceptions and your memory lead you to make a decision. You execute the decision and receive feedback in the form of stimuli, which starts the process all over again. However, short-term memory has its limitations. For example, your perceptions of what you see and hear can be altered by what you expect to see and hear. Also, your attention resources are deeply affected by how much rest you've had and the emotional stress you may be under. Attention resources, or lack thereof, can degrade your ability to process information and make good decisions. And your decisions at work may also be affected by stress. For example, take a look at this curve chart. This line shows what your level of performance is like when you're on the job. When you're overloaded with work, you may get stressed out and overstimulated. Your task's saturated, so your performance may be less than perfect. But if you have less workload, you're more likely to get distracted and still not be 100% focused on your job. So this is where you want to be, at the highest point of the curve. This is your target. It's where the workload allows you to maximize your performance. It's the right amount to keep you stimulated and on top of your game. When you're over on the right end, your workload is high. You tend to shed tasks as you go. Your brain is reacting to overload by not processing some information to focus on the task at hand. And when you get seriously overloaded, your brain has to prioritize and often may choose sight information over sound information. This causes your hearing perception to degrade. Humans are generally more dependent on visual stimuli than auditory stimuli, so when you're stressed, you'll often focus more on what you see than what you hear. If you find yourself saying, "say again," that's a sign you may be overloaded. Similarly, when controllers during training miss radio calls or do not respond to calls, it may be a sign that they are overloaded. This overload problem affects pilots as well. So, when you hear a pilot say, "What was that clearance?" or something similar, the pilot may be overloaded. The pilot may miss call signs, clearances, and control instructions. This often happens when they are in a critical phase of flight, such as departure or landing. They are so focused on flying the aircraft that they don't hear control instructions. Balancing stress and focus of attention is key to maintaining your best performance in the workplace. Your brain wants you to perform at the top of the curve, so it does things unconsciously to help keep you there. So remember, there are things we can consciously do to stay at the top of the curve, improve our work performance, and make good decisions.